We sat down and spoke to Senator Warren Limmer earlier this week, and one of the topics we asked him about was police reform. Here is what he had to say.
Now, of course, since the Derek Chauvin trial, there's been a lot of focus on police reform. You guys passed a public safety bill a few weeks ago, but of course there's a little bit of criticism that it didn't have enough. What do you see happening in that arena?
Well, again, we focused on a budget year, on the budget in the public safety bill. However, some of our colleagues in the House want more police reform, and as we're beginning to look at their police reform, we also realized that we did a lot of reform in this area last summer. Immediately after the Chauvin, George Floyd death, we started working on that. It's hard to do major reform in a highly emotional environment, especially only mere days after the death of George Floyd. We did our best. We prohibited chokeholds. We increased training for police officers. We focused on mental illness awareness. We talked about bringing down a hostile environment. We improved training on it. Now the House wants to go in a different direction. They want to get rid of qualified immunity. That's when police officers can do their job, and if there happens to be a civil law lawsuit over something they did, right now the current practice is you sue the city, you sue the employer. This goes in a different direction. It goes after the employee, the police officer. Keep in mind, police officers don't make a lot of money. There's not a lot of money to be had by a civil law case. And we're trying to understand the motivation of that. Is the motivation to get money on behalf of the victim or the victim's family? Or is it more coming out of the motive of retribution? You know, all of these cases are tragic. Every death should affect all of us. But we also have to keep in mind, we need police officers. And if some of these proposals come in, police officers have already said, we can't work in this environment, we will quit this career, we'll move out of state. And so we have to create that balance that's so vitally important. And so we're very cautious about that.
And very tough too, very tall order.
It's very tough, and then again, it's in an environment of high emotion, and it's painful to hear the stories, but at the same time, it's also painful to hear the stories when police officers are attacked and slain. And so we have to be careful as we proceed.
We interviewed Representative Cedric Frazier on this topic as well. You can see his full interview on ccxmedia.org.
Find more local news stories at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.